One to the Murray City Municipal Council Committee of the Whole for October 18th, 2025. Welcome, welcome. Everyone is here except for Paul, who is now on the phone.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. So we're just good. Anybody want some pizza? Who wants a large pepperoni? We have one large pepperoni. Okay, we'll take the approval of the minutes for October 7th, 2025, October 21st, 2025. I will take a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 7th and October 21st, 2025.
Can I have a second? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, so we are all set for that. Our first discussion is the drilling location for the new Winchester well. Yay! Aaron Frisk and Russ Kekala presenting 10 minutes.
We don't even need that. Well, it's almost evening, so
It is evening.
this is the well that we was planning to put down on the new park. on
Can you hold
Winchester.
1 second?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to excuse Paul. Now you may
Okay.
continue.
Excuse Paul. So
I'm disappointed you off your hat.
I know you tried to talk me into wearing that.
Just so I'm disappointed.
But as we looked at things, and Aaron looked at things, we looked at the other side of the Jordan River, the places in the golf course area. I spoke with the mayor. Mayor supported it. Doug supported it. And I talked with Jason Lundberg and over there, and he has plenty of room for it. Doesn't impede anything that he's got going on there. So and it's a great location. And I'll have Aaron, he popped something up here for you guys just to explain why we want to move it from that location that we initially wanted it at. So,
Yeah, so to kind of expound on what Russ said, so we didn't really want to impact the park. We didn't want to impact the kind of.
Which was across the street.
Yeah, it's across the street. You can see here, it's more that natural vegetation. That whole area is the new proposed park. So, and then we didn't also want to wait on a building design to wait for Salt Lake County and the parks to say yes or no when they're in the process of developing that park plan that they're in right now. So one real big reason is security of this site next to the golf maintenance building. You can kind of see the golf maintenance building is on the upper right-hand corner. Then the other side is to the west of them is kind of their maintenance landscaping where they can cut grass and replace divots on the golf course. And then that other parcel is what? When did we purchase that? Probably.
I can't remember exactly. It used to be a house.
It used to be a house right there.
Years ago. And they pretty much store, right now they store tree trimmings and just stuff, and then, we bring trailers and then we haul it off. But it won't even affect that, putting this new building in this area.
When we show you the kind of design where we're at right now, we're going to build them kind of a crash pad, like a concrete pad for them to put down material. So it'd be easy for them to scoop and load trucks with. So.
And this isn't by the houses, right?
Nope, it's west of the houses.
Got it.
So the houses are to the east.
You can see the maintenance building, right? Where all their blades are and their mowers and stuff. And then the field next to it there, or the grass next to it is what they check their blades and heights and all that stuff and cut. But then beyond that, to the west of that is the parcel we're talking about. And everybody's in favor of it. We just want to let you guys know why we wanted to switch that.
And a big reason also is water quality. So Jordan River is kind of the divider between the Wasatch Range and the Oakland Mountain Range. So on the Wasatch side, you have better quality of water. So quality of water really for this Jordan or the Salt Lake Valley Basin is the calcium bicarbonate, which is total dissolved solids. It's just high mineral content that's coming through the rock underneath the ground. So on the Wasatch side, you have lava rock. So you have a more pristine water that is going through. And on the Ochre side, you have pretty much it's been contaminated by industry for the Okra Mountains from the Kennecott. So, and the Jordan River is kind of the divider from it. So us being on the east side of the Jordan River gives us a better opportunity for better water quality, so.
That's great. That's awesome
Yeah.
that you guys figured that out. That's before we did the other things.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been talking about it, and then when we got our consultants, Bolton Collins on, that this is the route that we really wanted to go. And then Russ reached out to the mayor, Kim Sorensen. So,
Awesome.
And it doesn't affect the federal funding?
No.
we're gonna receive?
no, no. So this just, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Has the new site been tested? I mean,
No, it won't get tested until we do the test drilling. So
Okay.
when we do the test
so you
drilling.
haven't test drilled
We have
the
not
other
yet.
side anyway?
No.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
It's just, it's amazing that it's two different aquifers, 300 meters apart.
Yes. So what happens is the groundwater comes up, and the Jordan River has been the historic divider ever since the Bonneville Lake kind of depleted, and then you have that natural flow from the Utah Lake to the Great Salt Lake. And it's always been that natural divider between them. And pioneers have in the past, the Jordan River has changed routes.
Sure.
So that formation sometimes is off just because of natural, when it changes pathway on its own.
Yeah.
Or pioneers have said, no, we want the Jordan River to go this way, and they dug a trench and rerouted the Jordan River.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. So.
Yeah, it's fascinating, it really is.
So this is just an easier graph to look at when you look at TDS. You see the yellows is a lower range, and then once you get into the oranges and the reds, that's high levels of TDS. And then, so this is where we're at with design. We're going with a similar design to our park well. It's a great design for a municipal well. We have future options to add different ways to treat the water with this well. It gives us good separation between the well and our equipment room. It's just a great design.
And you guys all realize that there by the softball field
Yeah, watch the
it
build.
looks nice.
Yeah, it's
you know,
cool.
It's good.
It's a great building. And it withstands softballs, so it's going to be able to take a couple of golf balls. So.
Lots of dogs being on it.
Yeah, and you kind of see, this is the kind of layout that we have on the left. And you see that little green line that comes down across it. So that's our 100-foot separation between the sewer main that goes down Winchester Street. So because of the groundwater protection plan, you can't drill a well within 100 feet of a sewer line. So we're just showing you that we are proposing to be 100 feet off.
Makes sense.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No,
Okay, you guys?
So yeah, and the funding.
Did we say why we're doing this?
Is on the
Why?
Yeah.
Move it to the bill.
Yeah, I know.
Because of pressures on the west side.
So when they read this, the citizens read this, they'll know why you're doing
Yeah, and
this
I'm not
well.
sure they're gonna really read it. I mean, we can put some information out there,
Yeah.
but one of the reasons we are is because of pressures, low pressures on that side and redundancy in the system on that west side. You know, we got higher pressures up here, but as you go west,
We could
Yeah.
switch our name to Argentina.
especially when people have water in their lawns. You get a drop.
Yeah, no
Then
kidding.
you got that hill that's gotta climb.
Yes,
Just for a little.
yes,
So it'll get better pressures at the hill, firefighting,
yes.
so
Okay,
we need it, so,
thank you.
well, thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
See, take this.
Okay, we're on discussion item number 2. An ordinance relating to land use amends the zoning map from R-1-8, single-family low-density residential to R-N-B residential neighborhood business for the property located at 6446 South 900 East, Murray City, Chad Wilkinson is presenting 15 minutes.
I will substitute Zach today, yes. You can see Zach's growing some new facial hair. Can we switch that over to this one, Patty? So, yeah, this is a zone change that went to the planning commission a little while ago. This is one of those, I guess, kind of typical zone change that we see for this area of Ninth East, right? This is an area that's been in transition for a number of years. The property you can see there is outlined in blue. It's about a quarter of an acre. It's currently zoned R18. So the cursor there, so there's our property right there, just across the street from Wheeler Farm. Here's the current zoning. You can see it does have some properties that are surrounding it that are also single-family residential, but also a chunk to the south of commercial zoning. And this entire area in the general plan, you can see that kind of pink, light pink color there, that's all residential business designation in our general plan. So this request doesn't require any kind of a general plan amendment. It's been anticipated in the general plan. Excuse me, in the general plan for a long time, that some of these properties would transition over into these residential compatible business areas. Just a quick comparison of the standards for the various zones, setbacks, height, all those things. The reason why this R&B is deemed to be compatible against residential is that it does have compatible heights. You can see that the height for an R&B building, for example, is lower than that for an existing R18. So that's just a note of why that's considered to be compatible with residential. Sent out some public notices. Didn't have any comments on this particular zone change. There's some findings. The I guess most important finding from staff's point of view is that this is anticipated in your general plan. It's complying with the general plan designation. So we are recommending that the council approve this zone change. That's also what the recommendation of the planning commission was. They voted on this. It was unanimous with the folks that were there that night. So happy to answer any questions if I can.
Can you go back to that chart? I can't remember if it said it or not. There it is. Based on use, the parking requirement based on use.
Right. So if it's an office use, it'll have something different than if it's a school use or something like that. Yeah.
'Cause I've noticed in that neighborhood, especially being across from Wheeler Farm, they do the farmers markets. People park across the street. I watched one old man drag a bunch of road barriers that I think he owned. There aren't city road barriers blocking off that street to parking.
Right here. Yeah. Yeah, it gets pretty busy on Sunday mornings, I think.
He is very adamant that nobody parks on that street, so I'm just cautious about adding more traffic to
We
that.
do have a street that we block off. Is that the same street?
This is Silver Shadow. So this is, yeah, we've been working on it.
Yeah, just-
With that, where is the entrance to the parking lot going to be? Is it on 9th East or is it Silver Shadow?
I think this one's going to come off that driveway there on Silver Shadow.
Is there any way we can require it to be off of 9th East? Is that just,
This is-
you're going to hear the traffic complaint.
Sure.
And if you
Yep.
put it off 9th East, it decreases the traffic complaint.
This is zone change, so we typically wouldn't have a condition like that in the zone change stage. We could work with them on any kind of site plan approval. From what we've been told by the applicant, this is not going to be a significant change to that lot. They're not planning on building a new building or anything, so this has been a commercial building in the past. We had, it was a preschool or Montessori school that hasn't been used that way for a while, but it has functioned like that in the past, so.
So the plan is to keep this existing building and just
That's my
renovate it?
understanding, yeah. Yep,
Okay.
for a small business office use.
It's not gonna be cheap.
Yeah.
to
I was hoping I
renovate
had a little
that.
picture of that, but I don't think we do in the packet. Picture of the home.
Yeah,
Because
I didn't
well,
see
I have heard from one resident about some of the concerns, so.
I watched him in the balloon. I watched him move.
Yeah, that's a
Very
recurring concern. But I have heard one about the zone change, and a lot of it has to do outside of zone change discussions, but
Right.
I have heard from one resident.
Huh, interesting. There was nothing in P and Z, planning and zoning.
No,
There
no, there
was
was
no comments.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
fairly straightforward. Yeah, again, it's in the general plan, this is designated for that use, that type of use, so. Any questions?
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Chad. Okay, our next discussion item is number 3. discussion ordinance related to land use amends the general plan to adopt and add the Murray City water use and preservation elements. Chad.
Yes, thanks.
Chad.
That's right. Zach is not with us today, but he will be back for the council meeting. We talk about this. Aaron's here because he and Zach
looks
really.
like Zach.
Yeah, there we go.
We got the same hairline.
Used to.
You'll notice that between the two of us, we almost have a full beard.
Missing a
That is a little suspicious.
That's right.
We're glad to be here. This is a amendment that's required by state law. So about 3 years ago, we had in 2022 we had a state law that was passed that all cities, well not all, but certain cities are required to enact a water use and preservation chapter. And you'll remember, if you remember the timing of that was right on the heels of some of the worst drought that we've experienced in the state. So it was a very important issue. We've had, fortunately, some better years since then, but that doesn't mean this is not still an issue. We all know that that's always on the horizon. We live in a desert, and this is something that's very important. So this is something that, again, in coordination with Aaron, he and Zach have been working on this for a number of months here. This is really, I think, this general plan element, this water preservation element, is standing on the shoulders of the work that the water department did on the water conservation plan that was adopted in 2024. You'll note that a number of the sections are taken from that plan or rely on that plan quite a bit, right? So, and that's good. We see this sometimes where we have forward-thinking cities that get ahead of the state, which is what we have a water conservation plan already in the works before the state required this to be part of a general plan element. So I'm not going to go through the entire document. You've got that in your packet. It's multiple pages. I do want to just talk about the overall goals and strategies that are identified. The reason why I want to do that is because that's one of the specific requirements of state law, is that we include implementation and objectives and strategies and timeframes. That's one of the specific things the state says. You can't just say, here's a goal without a time frame. We had to give specific timeframes that some of these things can be accomplished. So the overall goal for this is to put together policies, ordinances, funding strategies that will provide for supply of resources for supply infrastructure and conservation goals be met. Apologize for reading that right out there. I'm not going to read all these verbatim here, but to accomplish that overall goal, we have some kind of sub-objectives. The first one has to do with that supply, making sure we have sufficient supply. So the strategies that we have identified there on the right-hand side of the slide, this is work that's already ongoing, but installing advanced metering infrastructure across the city to help with conservation efforts. Conduct a well sustainable study, very applicable to the topic that was just being discussed a minute ago, but determining aquifer yields and those things to make sure we have plenty of water supply. And then one that's related to land use, and some of the things we do is reducing institutional water by looking at how we're using water on our public properties, right? Are there places where we can make changes that make sense? Places where we don't have that functional turf, maybe there's places we can reduce some of that, where we can replace that with some water-wise landscaping, other things we can do as a public institution to reduce water usage. So that's that first objective. Second objective is looking at land use and water consumption. So first one there that's identified is that along with the water division and planning, we'll look at regional water providers, make sure we've got enough water infrastructure, make sure we're meeting conservation goals. The second one there is something that we've already started. We adopted some standards earlier this year, you will remember, for water conservation. So we've already adopted some standards that reduce the amount of allowed grass in development that also makes it so that you can't have grass in your park strips, right? That's actually prohibited under those standards now. So that's a big deal. Those are big conservation efforts. Our plan, the reason I say started is our plan, we wanted to get the minimum done so that we could have people qualify for that state incentive programs, the water savers programs, but there's other things we can do. And we plan to come back to you with those standards in the future to look at additional measures we can take for water conservation.
Since that had been approved, have you heard of anyone taking on that with the state?
So they're all going through either Central Utah Water Conservancy District or it's Jordan Valley Improvement District. So
So you don't hear
I don't
anything?
hear it yet.
Okay.
We will, once we go with our Yelpify platform, we'll have active measurements of conservation efforts that we'll be sharing with Central Utah so they can see which incentives are actually working.
Okay,
But we also are not hearing from people anymore that they don't qualify for those things, so
Yeah.
that's a good step. And I think, we hope that, the timing was such that hopefully some people were able to take advantage of that during the fall months to do some of that work. And that'll be something good to follow up on for sure.
I had a couple of citizens that wanted it really bad.
Yeah, and we're glad that they're eligible for that now.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. Any other questions about that strategy before I move to the next one? So number 3, this comes down to, and this is, if you have questions about this, probably better for Aaron, but water rate pricing adjustments, right? Doing that regularly to make sure that we got the pricing of water correct. And that's, again, part of water conservation is make sure that we pay for that resource appropriately, that the users pay for that. So unless there's any questions, that's all we want to talk about with that. Next one is this one says promote water equity, hazard resilience. The strategies are also have to do with, again, things that can be done to make sure we're catching those leaks, making sure that we're not wasting water that way. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what you just mentioned, the Yelpify. I don't know much about that.
So that's going to be one of our main strategies. It's going to be an awesome tool. So Yelpify is a platform that we're partnering with Central Utah Water Conservancy District. So the best part about this platform is the price point. It's going to be paid for by Central Utah for the first 3 years of it. So
Then
and then they'll be most likely partnering with us to pay for 50% of it. So we're looking at about $8,000 a year after that. So it's going to be an awesome platform. We'll be able to shoot the communication out to our residents that have over 24 hours of continuous usage instead of waiting. If a leak were to happen at the beginning right after we read it, it could be 30 days before we read it. And it could be 10 days after that before we notify them that, hey, we see you have high usage. So now we'll be able to send over a message either by text, email, or even a voice call to say, hey, you might have a leak at your house. We show this kind of usage. You can get this platform here. We'll give them a direct link. They can go right on it. So it's going to be a good platform. We can also look at water budgeting for our higher usage customers. We can do targeting messaging through that method. So it's going to be awesome. So we're excited.
Will the new meters do that?
So the new meters will give us the data.
Right.
And then we take that data, then we put it into this Yelpify, and then we
Okay.
we direct the messaging ourselves.
And how are we doing installing the meters?
So we've installed about 1,500
Okay,
interpreters to date.
okay.
So we're about 13% done.
Yeah.
And we've only had 3 people going at it because we've been waiting for the power. They deployed their meters first because we need a
Oh.
robust power deployment because our meters speak to the power meters and then they go to the routers and the gateway.
Got it.
So we had to let them get a jump start on us before we started.
And do you know where they're at as
They're
far?
about, I think they've installed about 12,000 now today. So
Okay,
they're getting them installed.
okay. Thank you. That was one of my questions. Thanks.
Great. Second
Hi.
strategy there. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to jump.
No.
Anything else? Okay. Second part of that strategy is a green infrastructure plan. Green infrastructure are things like bioswales. We've got one just to the north of the building here. Things that help us to, help with water quality, stormwater handling, and things that are allow that water to come into the ground and infiltrate it. And some of those things are ways to conserve water as well, right? That we're not pouring big amounts of water in some of these areas. Instead, we're using bioswales and other things to provide attractive landscaping that doesn't need as much water and can help with that water conservation.
And we have one here at City
To the
Hall.
north, yep, that's
Zach, I was in the office and he says, You know what that is? And he explained it to me. I had no clue there was one there.
It's a very cool thing, and it
Yeah.
works. Yeah, every time we get big rain, he and I are the first ones to look out and say, "Oh yeah, look, that's working great out there." So
You can come down and look at the one at our Public Works building when it gets done.
That's right.
We'll have one as well.
You'll have one there too? Have you seen it?
I don't know what you're talking about, I haven't seen it.
it's pretty. Yeah,
It's
take a
really
look at when it's
cool.
functioning. It becomes a little bit of a pond right there, and
Yeah.
lets that water infiltrate. It's pretty cool. So.
It was smart on whoever said to do that when they were building City Hall. That was very smart,
Okay, I'm not sure who that was. Probably Zach. I don't know.
probably.
So last strategy I want to talk a little bit about, and this one's an important one. I think this boils down to the purpose of why we're doing this, right? The state says you have to have a water conservation element, a water conservation portion of your general plan. Why is that? Well, we make a lot of decisions with that general plan in mind, right? We're making land use decisions constantly. And one of those things that we look at, a finding that we make every time we make a zone change, a text amendment, is this compatible with the general plan? So having water conservation right in that general plan helps remind us that we need to make sure that every time we make one of those decisions, that we're considering what's the effect, what's the impact of this on water conservation, on water use. And that's an important thing for us to do. Not that we haven't been doing that in the past, but this just, again, further aligns that general plan with the good policies that we should have related to water conservation. So that's at objective 5. That's really it. The Planning Commission took a look at this on October 16th. Board unanimous recommendation that you adopt this water use and preservation element of the general plan. We'll bring this back to you at the next meeting for adoption, but that is the gist of the document. Of course, you have pages and pages of the actual document in your packet. Happy to answer any questions about that if you'd like.
And I will add, we did receive some remarks back from state planners, so we have updated it. Just recently, they wanted to have a water budget of our water system. We just have to prove to them that we do have capacity and show them how and why. So we're able to give them that information, so. It's like they didn't believe us, so. And I'll say Murray City's been lucky. The utilities have always had a really good relationship with our planning divisions. And so, you know, a lot of cities are lacking communication between utilities. They get water from districts. They get water from outside of the city, outside of their control. So they don't know if they have capacity, if they plan on building at some points. And Murray City's always had good cooperation between utilities and planning divisions.
That's great. And what I like was when, Aaron, you said a rate study was conducted in spring of 2025, concluding that Murray City had the lowest rates in Salt Lake Valley.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And we look to keep that up, you know.
Yeah,
So.
thank you.
Any other questions? Great, we'll bring this back to you in a couple weeks, or next week, I keep forgetting, we go back to back to back this time. Yep. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we are now on discussion item number 4.
Never.
An ordinance relating to no-fault utility and golf ball claims. GL presenting 10 minutes.
You get all the fancy stuff, don't you? Golf ball claims.
Say with that binder, like.
This is your meeting. So,
Headaches
leisure
for
reading.
GL right there.
Okay, so we have currently several no-fault claims. A golf ball claim would be where is a golf ball that is hit, an errant golf ball that goes off the course and hits a car. And we are not responsible for that, but we have this ordinance that says we will pay up to a certain amount to help mitigate that. The person responsible is the one who hit the ball. So similarly, we have no-fault utility ordinances, power, water, and sewer, where there are times when we're not at fault and we still have this to pay towards mitigating the damage that's done. Currently, it's for golf balls, it's $300. For the other three, it's $5,000. We'd like to increase that. The golf ball ordinance was passed in 2008. The others were passed in 2012. and we're seeing where it would help to have a little bit more, well, quite a bit more per claim. So that's what we're asking for.
How often do we have this happen?
So golf balls in a year claims, we will get anywhere from 3 to maybe 6 or 8, and of those 6 or 8, we'll pay about 3 or 4 a year. For power, just depends. We'll get several claims a year, but we'll usually deny some of those. And we have paid out in the last 4 years or so 1 power claim, and then sewer and water is a little bit more frequent. Water more frequent than the others. We'll get a handful maybe in a year, maybe fewer.
Does this one come out of general fund or does it come out of like utility?
Risk.
Risk.
It's the same fund that we use to pay lawsuits and things out of.
And we just had water breakage in the subdivision behind me on the street.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. And so, with the golf balls, is this just for vehicles and
It
now,
is.
so windows,
Correct.
they're on their own?
Correct.
Okay. So you're gonna raise it, it looks like.
Well, you will if you decide.
You're gonna raise it. You're gonna raise it. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
When I vote, I'm just saying this was the mayor's idea. Every time we vote, we'll put it right on you.
Believe it or not, this one was my idea.
Yeah.
We've had, like you said.
Yeah, we had.
What happened in your area. And
Yeah.
It's not like a lot, but
No.
I'll tell you what, it's a lot of weight on me when someone comes and they say, hey, we've had a breakage and blah, 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 and our people are out there on time, quick, get it
Yeah.
fixed. But there's sometimes some damage that happens that we're not responsible for. That's really hard when you've got someone's basement that was flooded. So this will help if you approve that to go 10th. And it was 2012, is that when we just, that was?
Yeah.
So it's, so it was $5,000 14 years ago, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And now we're asking for 10, kind of like to say 20, but we'll just ease up to whatever, but.
My house insurance went up more than that.
Yeah, the claims are
Yeah.
it's very seldom are they below 10 or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So on
Makes
the,
sense.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just,
So on the golf course, it's pretty much just one hole that's creating those.
Oftentimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I know there has been in the past, 215's been involved, but I think with the.
Yeah, the nettings, yeah.
it's not
And that's kind of the direction I'm going. I mean, at what point do the golf ball claims make it worth extending that fence on Winchester?
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that. To be able
I mean,
to
not
do
the
that-
whole way, but just
Yeah.
that tee box is just right there in the corner.
One of the problems with that is you've got power lines in that area, if I remember right.
Yeah, there
Where
are
you
some on
really
that
couldn't
side.
raise it enough to.
Well, you could drop power lines.
At a great expense, you could, yes.
And how much would that
10
cost?
million, but
Maybe a little, yeah, but yeah, eventually it'll
it will be, yeah.
cost,
Could be.
Will make
Yeah,
sense.
Could be, yeah,
not saying now,
yeah.
but. Yeah.
Is that it?
I have
Okay,
to
we're
beat up.
back next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, we are now on discussion item number 5, which is a resolution approving an interlocal cooperation agreement between Murray City and Murray City School District for mutual use of facilities. Doug Hill is presenting.
Thank
Hi,
you. If it's okay, I'd also like to take number 6 at
Yep.
the same time.
should I announce that one too, Patty, Jennifer? Sure. Okay, and also we're going to discuss number 6, a resolution authorizing the execution of an interlocal cooperation agreement between Murray City School District and Murray City relating to school resource officers provided by the city to the district. You have now 20 minutes.
All right, well, this is the same information that I presented at the City School Coordinating Council meeting. Nothing has changed since then. But the reason I wanted to take them both together is they're somewhat related. So we have an agreement with the school district for providing school resource officers. That agreement has expired and needs to be brought to current standards. And so the changes in that agreement are minimal. The police department made some changes which allows officers to be able to not have to be in the school all the time if they have training or if there are other responsibilities that take them away from the high school or the junior high school. So there's some language here that provides some provisions for our officers to be able to leave the school from time to time. And then the other change in the school resource officer agreement is that currently the school district pays the city only $25,000 for 3 officers. So it's, very, the city has been very good to the school district to provide that. And I did provide I think it was in the school board packet, a comparative of what other cities are getting from resource officers from like the Jordan School District and from the Canyon School District, which is 3 times as much, well, almost $75,000 per officer, right? So we've been really giving the school district a good deal. But there's a reason for that, and that's kind of what leads me then to the second agreement, which is the mutual use of facility agreement. So let me just stop there for a minute. Any questions about what we're doing with the school resource officers in that agreement? Just making it current, making some minor changes to the police, work in the schools, and then we're taking the fee out. We're taking, instead of saying that the school district has to pay us, we're saying we'll provide the officer for free. And I will explain that in a minute, why are we doing that. But any questions on that?
How does this affect officers that are used for like events, after school, normal hours?
Like football games,
Stuff.
plays.
So,
They pay them separately. That's not
right,
part of it.
okay, so that has nothing to do with
No.
that agreement, okay.
Any other questions?
I have a question, but it's for both of them, so.
Okay, so let me talk about then the mutual use of facilities agreement. So the city has had an agreement with school districts since the 1980s to use each other's facilities at the lowest cost possible. The thinking is that they're taxpayer-funded facilities. The taxpayers, if we start charging each other every time we use each other's facilities, we're essentially that's being passed on to the taxpayers who are also funding those facilities. And so the agreement since 1980 has changed several times between now and back to when it was originally put into place. What we're proposing now is to amend the existing agreement to say, well, let me back up. The existing agreement currently says that we won't charge each other for using facilities. In other words, we won't charge a reservation fee or a booking fee, but we will charge each other for items that require specialized skills. For example, if the city wants to use the gymnasium, or not the gymnasium, but the auditorium at Hillcrest Junior High School, then the school district has to provide a technician to run the sound equipment, the lighting equipment, and they can charge us for that. On the other hand, if the school district wants to use the swimming pool at the park center, the city has to provide lifeguards, and we have to pay those lifeguards. And so we can build a school district for the lifeguards. And that's currently how the agreement is set up. And when we got together with Jen Covington, the superintendent at the Murray School District, what we tried to do is we tried to simplify this money exchange process because it's complicated to have to track all of these costs. Oftentimes those costs don't get billed, and there's a lot of administration that goes into just tracking all of these outside costs. So the goal was, how can we set up an agreement that really we don't charge each other for anything? But by doing that, everyone wanted to look at who comes out ahead, who comes out behind in that process. Because for years, the city has been using the school district facilities a lot more than we have used than they have used our facilities. So, for example, when we looked at this on a usage basis for last year, the city, if we didn't have an agreement with the school district and we just had to pay to use their facilities at the rate that they're currently charging nonprofit organizations to use it, we would have had to pay the school district almost $200,000 to use their gyms and their soccer fields and things like that. On the other hand, if the school district would have had to pay the city to use our facility, they would have only had to pay about $71,000. So the school districts coming at it, or the school districts kind of coming out behind in this situation because they could collect a lot more money. And so what we tried to do is we tried to come up with a way that we could balance those costs so that they are closer together. And then we would say we're not charging each other for anything. So to make that happen, we had to, we didn't have to, but we talked about moving the cost for a school resource officer from them paying us into, we wouldn't charge them. So that helps bring those costs closer together. The other thing that we got involved with was the golf tournament that the Murray Education Foundation puts on, because every year they would come to you and they would request a fee waiver. And that can be a little bit cumbersome for you, I know, because for various reasons of having to waive a fee and whether that should be waived or not. So what we decided to do is just not charge them for that golf tournament. So for one time a year, the Murray Education Foundation, which is really separate from the school district, but they really are together. So that's why the agreement for mutual use now includes a signature line item for the Murray Education Foundation. They have their own executive director, but we're kind of looking at it as it's part of the school costs. So we'll let them have a golf tournament for free.
They raise
once
funds,
a year.
Right? They raise funds for
Yes.
the school
That's right.
district, and so that's.
Yeah. And so now they'll be able to use those funds to help whatever program the schools have, whatever the Education Foundation wants to use it for. And so in return then, the city, for that, the city will also, what we get that we're not currently getting is they put out a weekly e-newsletter that goes to all of the parents, and I don't know who all receive it, but the parents all receive it. And they'll allow us to put advertisements in it for our recreation programs. Right now, we're having to pay for that. We have to pay for every advertisement that we put in. So with this kind of trading programs, trading money, what we were able to show is that the city will continue to use the school district facilities without fee and not have to pay for any specialized costs. And that's a benefit of, again, around $200,000. But we've changed the ledger on our side to say that the school district now is receiving a benefit that's closer to the $200,000. It's about $171,000 benefit that they're going to be receiving. So now that made the school district more comfortable in saying we won't charge the city anymore for these costs. And it made us comfortable saying we're willing to not charge you for the school resource officer, for the golf tournament, and for those kinds of things. So that's essentially what the mutual use of facilities agreement is doing. So now I don't know if that answered your question, Diane, or not, but I'll let you ask any questions.
We have to approve this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why are we not required to sign it? GL?
What do you mean you're not required to sign it?
Well, there's no signature from the council on the,
So that there's a resolution, I imagine it says that the mayor will be the signer.
Yeah, there should be a resolution
okay,
on the
I
front.
found it, yeah, okay, so it's, okay. That's what I was confused about. 'Cause I-
So yeah, so the city will have to sign it, the mayor will sign on behalf of the city, but you have to authorize the mayor to do it with the resolution. School district will have to sign it, and I think it's the same thing, they have to have the school board approve for the superintendent to sign it, and then the Murray Education Foundation will sign it too.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Got it.
So when they're on the golf course, if one of their golf balls hits a car or whatever, do we pay for that or do they pay for that? Just asking, because we're just talking about insurance, so I'm putting it out there. So do we pay for it? Do they pay for it?
Yeah, I would assume, because we don't have that there's no language in the agreement.
Right, there isn't. So I'm just
I would
asking.
assume that if a high school golf player hits a golf ball out and somebody comes in and makes a claim on the city, we will pay that no-fault insurance.
Okay,
Actually, the parents will be paying for it.
the parents will pay for it, got it, okay.
Does this waive the fee for the high school? The high school golf players too, or just the golf event? Like the high school golf team, are their fees waived?
I think just the event.
No, they will still pay the
They're
golf
still paying.
fees. Yeah, the golf team will.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because they're not exclusively to Murray. I mean, they go all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
The agreement does allow the mayor and the superintendent to determine what is a city-sponsored versus what is a district-sponsored program. We get a lot of requests from people that kind of want to use this to use the school district facilities for free. We have people from outside that'll come to the city, recreation people, and they'll say, will you sponsor our program? And the only reason they're doing that is because they want to use the high school for free, right? And so what has to happen would be that the recreation people would have to say, yeah, we would like to sponsor that program because it's part of our goal and objective, and they would have to then make that argument to the mayor, who would then have to say, yes, we think we could sponsor that program, or no, we don't, there's no benefit for the city to sponsor that. Usually there's no benefit for the city to sponsor it, so the answer is typically no, we don't sponsor it.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks.
Thanks.
Nice job.
All right, so now we're on our last discussion. Resolution adopting the regular meeting schedule of the Murray City Municipal Council for calendar year 2026. Jennifer Kennedy, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, so in your packet is the proposed meeting schedule for 2026. I've worked on it with Pam and Adam, Council Chair and Vice Chair. Just a couple dates. Normally we just do the first and the third Tuesday. A couple dates we changed for a couple reasons. The third Tuesday in March is March 17th. The National League of Cities Congressional Conference is also scheduled March 16th through 18th. So we opted to move that meeting to March 24th. And then in November, we adjusted again for election day, even though it's not municipal elections, it is an election date. So we're gonna do November 10th and 17th, and then we adjusted the December meetings to December 1st and 8th. Everything else looked like, as far as conferences you guys normally attend, there were no conflicts, so we pretty much kept it first and the third Tuesday of the month. And you'll be voting on that in the council meeting. And I can answer any questions you guys have.
Looks good. Looks good.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, I will adjourn this meeting.
Your next meeting starts at 6:20 for Board of Canvassers. And we do have some snacks.
It's going to be efficient.